Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. WWE delivered a massive show at Bad Blood 2024, which saw top superstars pick up monumental wins to turn a new page in their respective storylines. However, the premium live event also featured several surprise appearances, including highly anticipated comebacks of former champions and a few Hall of Famers. In this article, we will look at the 4 biggest returns at Bad Blood 2024. So, without further ado, let's begin. 1. The Rock returns at WWE Bad Blood. The Rock played a significant role in Cody Rhodes' journey of finishing his story, which ended with the latter beating Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania XL. A shocking turn led Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes to join forces to take on Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu at Bad Blood. The two arch-rivals defeated the new-look Bloodline members but didn't have much to celebrate after. The closing moments of the action-packed show saw The Rock make a shocking return to WWE television after 6 months. The Great One stood at the entrance of the ramp and stared down both Reigns and Rhodes before making a cutthroat gesture. The Rock didn't cut a promo, but his return left everyone on a cliffhanger, arousing curiosity surrounding his next appearance and potential feud with Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes. 2. Jimmy Uso reunites with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. The Rock wasn't the only member of Old Bloodline who returned at Bad Blood 2024. The show's main event featuring Roman Reigns saw his former ally Jimmy Uso make a surprise return to help the original tribal chief against the group, appearing for the first time since Solo Sikoa had ordered a massive attack that ruled him out of action. Jimmy had an emotional reunion with Roman Reigns and even convinced the head of the table to go back inside the ring and help save Cody Rhodes from the Bloodline's attack in the post-match segment. With Jimmy back on Roman Reigns' side, it will be interesting to see if the path has been laid for Jey Uso and Paul Heyman to return on SmackDown soon. 3. Raquel Rodriguez makes an awkward return at Bad Blood 2024. Raquel Rodriguez made her return at Bad Blood 2024 during the Women's World Championship match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Dominic Mysterio was suspended from a shark cage during this match to prevent him from interfering, as he has done on several occasions in the past. However, another planned entrance saw Rodriguez attack Rhea Ripley to help Morgan retain her gold. Raquel Rodriguez's return was widely described as awkward. The match official visibly attempted to avoid seeing Rodriguez's interference, but the bell rang while he appeared distracted by Mysterio's condition. The bout ended via disqualification, granting Rhea Ripley the win but not the title. It appeared that this might not have been the planned finish, with Rodriguez helping Morgan into a position where the champion could pin the challenger, but the bell had already gone off. The 33-year-old has now possibly joined the Judgment Day. Fans hope to get answers from the heel faction on Monday Night Raw after WWE Bad Blood. 4. Gunther annihilates Goldberg with a brutal shot at WWE Bad Blood. Gunther was not scheduled to defend his World Heavyweight Championship at Bad Blood 2024. However, he appeared on the show to share his thoughts after Triple H made a historic announcement about introducing a special title that can only be won annually in a bout between the top champions of men's and women's divisions. The ring general noticed Goldberg at ringside and decided to instigate the WWE Hall of Famer. Gunther's comments towards Goldberg's son, Gage, about hoping that his dad was a better father than he was a wrestler, provoked the legend into jumping the barricade seeking a confrontation. Security was quick to put distance between the two stars. However, the segment teased a potential feud between the ring general and Goldberg, with the latter coming out for a last match maybe? Jimmy Uso's less than glamorous entrance at WWE Bad Blood. WWE Bad Blood marked the highly anticipated return of Jimmy Uso. The surprise comeback marked one of the more viral topics coming out of the premium live event. However, new fan footage has revealed a moment that the company officials likely would have wanted to keep under wraps. The older Uso brother has not wrestled since losing to brother Jey Uso at WrestleMania XL. Jimmy appeared on the Fallout episode of SmackDown, where he was ejected from the Bloodline by Solo Sikoa and the debuting Tama Tonga. Fast forward to the Bad Blood last night. Roman Reigns returned to the ring to team up with Cody Rhodes against Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa tried to interfere at one point, but USO made his surprise return and superkicked the current WWE Tag Team Champions. Reigns then hit a spear to Solo for the pin. The post-match angle saw Jimmy and Roman reunite with an embrace as the crowd went wild. Jimmy's Bad Blood return began with USO appearing at ringside in a hoodie with a bandana covering his face before the WWE Tag Team Champions grabbed him and brought him into the ring for the reveal and superkicks. A fan took to social media to reveal footage of the 8-time Tag Team Champion crawling from under the ring to stalk his foes. Reigns and USO left together after the Bad Blood main event, but they rushed back to the ring to save the undisputed champion from a sneak attack by Sikoa and his henchmen. After clearing the ring, Reigns held Rhodes' championship belt before handing it back over. The Rock then made his return as Cody raised the title. Officials have not announced when Jimmy will return to the ring. Jimmy USO's family reacts to WWE return. Jimmy USO is back in action for World Wrestling Entertainment. The tag team legend was away for 176 days until returning during Saturday's Bad Blood main event. Jey USO is currently a top star on the Raw brand, just 2 weeks into his first Intercontinental Championship reign. Jey shared a simple emoji reaction to his brother's return on Saturday, then shared a celebratory photo with Jimmy's wife, Naomi. Rikishi also reacted to the return of his son. The Hall of Famer shared Jimmy's new t-shirt from WWE Shop and welcomed him back. The lights inside the packed arena began to flicker as the crowd waited in anticipation. WWE's Bad Blood pay-per-view had been building for weeks, with matches promising to push the boundaries of intensity, brutality, and passion. One of the most awaited moments of the night involved Jimmy USO, the man who had stepped out from the shadows of the bloodline, and his cousin Roman Reigns, ready to carve his own path. But his entrance, unlike his past grand spectacles, would be anything but glamorous. The build-up ever since Jimmy USO had walked away from the bloodline, things had been a roller coaster for the Samoan superstar. He wasn't in his brother Jay's shadow anymore, but he also wasn't standing alongside the indomitable Roman Reigns. The constant struggle of finding his identity had led Jimmy to challenge some of WWE's biggest names, and now, at Bad Blood, he was set to face a bitter rival who had mocked his fall from grace, Drew McIntyre. Leading up to this moment, Jimmy had been trying to prove that he didn't need Reigns or the Usos' long-running legacy to be great. His promo earlier in the night had been filled with fire, determination dripping from every word as he promised to show the world what the lone USO is made of. However, backstage, things were not as focused as his words suggested. The tension between the producers and Jimmy over the specifics of his entrance had been bubbling for hours. Jimmy had requested a new, bold entrance for his match at Bad Blood, something that would signal his break from the bloodline's polished, regal presence. His idea? A grittier, rawer version of his persona, reflecting the chaotic path he'd been on since the fallout with Roman. But despite Jimmy's excitement about the change, technical mishaps and disagreements had begun to emerge, with his vision unraveling by the minute. The moment as the final match before Jimmy's was wrapping up, tension filled the production room. Jimmy was backstage, psyching himself up in his locker room, the dull throb of his music ringing in his ears, waiting for his cue. The production team was scrambling to finalize his entrance, but nothing was going according to plan. Suddenly, the lights dimmed and the signature USO graphic flashed across the massive screen. His entrance music, once an emblem of his dynamic energy, began to play, but instead of the hard-hitting remix Jimmy had planned, the track was botched, awkwardly cutting between different beats like a malfunctioning playlist. The mix was a throwback to his bloodline days, when he walked proudly with Roman. That wasn't supposed to happen. As Jimmy walked out from behind the curtain, his face immediately betrayed his disappointment. This wasn't the bold, new direction he had envisioned. The pyro effects he had specifically requested were either delayed or mistimed, going off in random spurts that didn't sync with the music. The LED ramp was meant to showcase visuals of destruction and chaos, symbolizing his break from his former faction, but instead, outdated graphics of the Usos and their tag team glory played, confusing the audience and further alienating Jimmy from his desired look. The walk to the ring, Jimmy's usually confident swagger was replaced by a forced march, a mix of embarrassment and frustration playing across his face. He was supposed to make an impact, a defining moment where fans would see that Jimmy Uso was more than just a tag team player or Roman's lackey. But instead, he looked like a man caught in a WWE technical disaster. The fans, sensing the awkwardness, were unsure how to react. There were some cheers for Jimmy's familiar presence, but they were muted, drowned out by a murmur of confusion over what exactly had happened with his entrance. Even Drew McIntyre, waiting in the ring, could be seen smirking as Jimmy approached, clearly relishing the fact that his opponent was visibly rattled before the bell had even rung. The camera zoomed in on Jimmy's face as he ascended the steel steps, his eyes narrowed with determination, despite everything going wrong around him. His thoughts raced. He needed to salvage this. This was bad blood, not some minor event. He couldn't let this botched entrance ruin his night. The match unfolds as the bell rang. Jimmy lunged at Drew with a fury that surprised the former WWE champion. Clearly, the mishap with the entrance had lit a fire in Jimmy, and the crowd quickly forgot the earlier awkwardness as they became absorbed in the sheer intensity of the match. Drew, however, was no pushover. Using his size and strength advantage, he countered Jimmy's assaults with devastating chops and brutal suplexes. For every moment of brilliance from Jimmy, Drew had an answer, dragging the match into a brutal, back-and-forth brawl. At one point, Drew had Jimmy trapped in the corner, delivering thunderous blows. "You came out here thinking you could step to me?" Drew shouted, mocking Jimmy for his entrance and claiming this was the end for the rogue USO. But Jimmy wouldn't go down easily. With a burst of speed and adrenaline, he broke free, countering with a flurry of punches and a jaw-dropping superkick that sent Drew sprawling. The crowd erupted. For a moment, Jimmy Uso was back. He wasn't the botched entrance or the man who had left the bloodline in chaos. He was a fighter, a warrior in the ring, reclaiming the respect he deserved. As Drew staggered to his feet, Jimmy took to the top rope, looking to deliver the final blow. The aftermath as the match neared its conclusion, both men were exhausted, but Jimmy's determination shone through. With one final, desperate leap from the top rope, Jimmy landed a splash onto Drew, securing the pinfall victory. The crowd roared in approval, finally seeing the man they had wanted all along. Jimmy stood victorious, breathing heavily, the earlier embarrassment of his entrance fading into the background. But the mishap still lingered in the back of his mind. This wasn't the way he had wanted his bad blood moment to go. As Jimmy made his way back up the ramp, Drew still lying in the ring, he took a glance at the malfunctioning lights and graphics around him. A small smirk curled at the edge of his lips. Maybe this imperfect entrance wasn't so bad after all. It was messy, just like his journey, but in the end, he had emerged on top. Even with the glitches, Jimmy Uso had found a way to remind everyone why he was a force to be reckoned with, no matter how glamorous, or not, his entrance might be.